Welcome to Dorking Out. My name is Sonia Mansfield, and now can I please have the attention of the class? Today's assignment, kick some ass! Joining me is my podcasting sister from another mister and the co-host of Dorking Out, Margo D. Hello, my friend.
You're not hardcore unless you live hardcore. Hello, my friend.
Hello. I wasn't expecting that reply. That's a really good one. We are dorking out about 2003's School of Rock. It's directed by Richard Linklater and written by Mike White, starring Jack Black, Joan Cusack, Mike White, and Sarah Silverman, and a ton of kids. I'm not going to list them all. This was like a fucking joy to watch. This was such a good idea, Margo.
Well, thank you. I thought, it was back to school.
Yeah.
It's back to school time. Kids are going back. Well, they're not going to school, but they are. But anyway, I just love this movie so much. And every time I see it, I keep watching it. I just watch the whole way through. Mm-hmm. It always makes me laugh. It always makes me smile. And I just watched it this morning and I was cracking up. I just love this movie.
I love it too. Did you see it in the theater?
Yes. And that's because I went to a special screening because my friend's, Erin, one of her good friends, his job was to wrangle the kids. Like when they were off, when they were like putting the shots together and stuff like that. His job was to make sure that the kids were focused and things like that. And if you ever met him, you would be like, oh, you're the perfect guy for that. Because he's a very silly, fun person. He tells the best stories. I can't tell you who he worked for at the time because they would sue me, but I'll tell you off the air.
Yeah.
But that's how he got the gig.
Okay, good to know. I also saw this in the theater. I really liked Jack Black. I still like Jack Black. I shouldn't say that in past tense. But I really loved him in High Fidelity, which had come out a couple years before that. I thought that dude's a star. Yeah. When I saw him, I was like, he was funny as shit. He was so good in that role. And then of course at the end of High Fidelity, he sings and you're not expecting that from him, and he's so good that I was blown away. And I was like, who is this person? And so I kind of back then had gone down this Jack Black rabbit hole, and I was like, what's Tenacious D, which is his band. If you have never seen it, go to YouTube and look up the shit, because it was a show on HBO, but it's his band, and they're really great. They're so fun.
Oh, yeah.
And I saw them a few times in concert when they came to San Francisco. They're very entertaining. I love their songs. I could sing a whole bunch of them right now. So School of Rock was like the first movie for me that like really showed what Jack Black could really, really do. And he's funny as shit in this movie.
We should hate him because he's lazy.
Yes.
And smelly. You can tell he smells. You can tell like he's a man child.
Yes.
He's got this very, myopic idea of what life should be, which is just be a musician no matter what. And he lives with his friend. He's not paying the rent. And Sarah Silverman's the girlfriend. And I love Sarah Silverman, but she says she hates this part because she just like all she does is like yell at people. She wants to be the bad guy. But somebody has to be responsible. But I just, what was I saying?
That you're supposed to hate him, but he's such a
charming actor.
Yeah.
He's so funny and charming and silly and willing to laugh at himself and willing to just do anything to get the laugh and go that extra mile that you got to appreciate him. And I would love him as a teacher. Oh my God.
Yeah. I would also love him as a teacher. Let's talk about Sarah Silverman really fast, because this is one of the things we should definitely just get out of the way. There's this idea that like her character is like, she's the worst. Like the idea that she's like the worst girlfriend. And I remember seeing this the first time and being like, what an asshole. She's so fucking bitchy and naggy. And then rewatching it last night, I was like, well, she's not wrong.
No, she's not wrong.
She's not wrong. Like, the message she's delivering is correct. He is lazy. He's smelly. He's not paying rent. He doesn't have a job. Like, all of these things are true. And she's trying to, like, push her boyfriend, Mike White, to, like, do better, be better. The good messages. The delivery is where she fails. She does come across as, like, a huge nag.
A harpy.
Yes.
She comes across, or if she were older, she'd be, they call her a battle axe. I mean, she's just so angry all the time.
Yes.
And just exudes this fury, which I guess they just want to balance it out for Mike White.
Yeah.
Because he's kind of a passive actor, I think.
Yeah,
and kind
he
of
is.
So having Jack Black be one way and Sarah Silverman be the other way kind of helps him shine a little bit more. They're doing the polar opposites. But Mike White used to be a musician, and now he's a substitute teacher. And Jack Black calls him a temp.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not a temp.
I'm a teacher. And I really appreciate substitute teachers now. Like, what a job that must be, to get a phone call. You don't know where you're going.
Yeah.
What you're teaching,
Yeah, their teachers they're fucking special. Like,
they are.
And I hope that when all of this pandemic is over, and fingers crossed it's going to be over someday, that a lot of parents should have a new appreciation for how hard their job is, because a lot of us now are trying to teach our kids at home, and you realize, shit, I'm not a teacher.
Right.
I'm not a teacher. It's hard. It's so hard to teach your kids. And actually, one of the other things about this, if you guys haven't seen this movie, by the way, you should stop and go watch School of Rock and then come back, because we're going to spoil everything. But the idea is that Jack Black's character takes one of Mike White's substitute teaching gigs at a, like, really hoity-toity prep school, and for, like, a whopping $650 a week. And
I couldn't believe that.
I know. I'm like, oh. But their teachers are underpaid. That's what I'm trying to get at. So he takes the job, and originally he's just like, I'm just gonna fucking sleep and eat all day in the class, and the kids can just do whatever they want. And then he realizes that they can actually play musical instruments, and he decides to form a band with them, because he had just been kicked out of his band. And I snicker, because the person they replace him with makes me laugh every time I see him. It's this, like, really beautiful man named Spider. And the way he dances is so funny.
Oh my God, with
and
the hips.
Yeah, and he has, like, a tattoo on his stomach that says sex. Like, it just makes me laugh really hard. Like, it's like the exact opposite of Jack Black is who they, like, get for their band. And it makes me laugh every time. So funny. I was dying. Anyway, he forms a band with these kids, and they each have their own personality, and I think the kids are so good. They're so good.
Yeah, they are.
And a lot of them they're not actors. They're not movie kids. Like, a lot of them didn't even make other movies. Some of them now are, like, studio musicians, I think. Maybe one or two of them actually act. I think the woman who played the girl, Miranda Cosgrove, she actually went on to, like, do, like, what, iCarly and things like that. Like, she actually acts, but the rest of them are not, like, movie kids, so, but they're really good, and I love their little personalities, and his nicknames for them made me laugh really hard. So he's like, brace face, turkey sub, fancy pants, like made me laugh. My husband said he could hear me laughing, like, throughout the whole movie. I just laughed out loud through this whole thing. I love his relationship with the kids.
I love it too. And it's, of course, it's very white guy. Like, you can only talk about classic rock. I mean, it's very, his ideas of it, but still, it's a fun way to get kids to learn.
I love
the whole montage. All the montages are great.
He asks the kids, like, what kind of music they like, and, like, one girl is like Christina Aguilera, and he's like, no. And then the other boy, Puff Daddy, and he's like, huh, no. And then, of course, like, the kid who's obviously, like, the class gay is like, Liza Minnelli, and he's like, no, what are you what are they teaching you in this school? You know, he's like super enthusiastic about, you know, classic rock music, and he introduces them to like AC/DC and Led Zeppelin and Rush and stuff like that. And I just, and he gives them each a role to play in the band. And so there's like the kid, you know, one kid is playing keyboards, and then we have drums and guitars and bass. And then the other kids that don't play musical instruments are like security or, he signs some of the girls as groupies, which I was like,
I know.
Yeah.
Ugh, that's there's a couple of points. I'm like, really? We couldn't think of anything else. I mean, I guess they're pretty blonde girls, but please.
Yeah.
Could we give them something else? That was a little lame.
Yeah. I was like, that's kind of a false note for me in this movie. I was like, because then Summer, the girl that he eventually makes the band manager because she's fucking smart as hell, she calls him out. She's like, groupies are sluts. Which, you know, I was like, I don't know if I agree with that, but I understand what she's trying to say, which is I want to do more than that.
Yeah, well, they're objects. You know,
Yes.
they're objectified by the bands, and then they're discarded. I mean,
I'm
that's,
like,
you know.
Yeah, make them in charge of merch, which is ultimately what they were anyway. They were the girls that were like, they designed the T-shirts and were running the merch table and stuff. And I was like, just say that they're that. Why do they have to be groupies? It's just a little, I was like, that part was a little thumbs down for me.
It's just like a trifling. I mean,
oh my God, it's like 1 second of the movie.
Right. I mean, the rest of it is like he becomes a really good teacher.
Mm-hmm.
He figures out a way to connect with all the different kids. I love the way he jokes around with the other teachers.
Mm-hmm.
Just, you know, yo ma's cuz, little nepotist. Just shit like that always cracks me up. He's so funny in this movie.
He's so likable.
So cute. Yes, he's incredibly likable. So let's talk about, he's training them to be in a battle of the bands.
Mm-hmm.
Because the band he was in kicked him out. And so he's like, I'm going to form this like super group and we're going to compete. And my first question is, so this happens in the middle of the day?
Yeah.
This battle of the bands like at noon on a Wednesday?
So,
like, and thousands of people show up?
Sure. I'm like, it was in my notes too. I was like, cool. Who doesn't go to Battle of the Bands on like a Wednesday afternoon or whatever? It's so weird. I'm like, okay, sure.
Yeah, and the kids have different varying levels of problems with their parents because they're not in a public school, they're in a private school. So the parents pay a lot of money and they have big expectations for them. So there's Zach on guitar. He's a great guitarist.
He's so good.
He's so good. But there's a scene where his dad's like pretty much like, don't you turn away from me. Don't be rude.
Yeah,
like,
I actually,
oh man,
I had forgotten about that part and I was like, oh, I hope this isn't going in a bad direction. Yes. Especially when I first saw it. I was like, oh, if it gets any darker than that, this is the wrong movie for that.
Yeah, that's a scene from Kindergarten Cop. Remember that?
Oh yeah.
Like the kid, yeah, he beats up the parents in front of everybody.
Oh my God. That movie's weird too. We should put that on the list. Kindergarten Cop's a big old fucking mess. What a weird movie.
But anyway, so the parents are like, the jig is up. They eventually find out that he's not a teacher because Sarah Silverman called the police.
Yeah, that was another part where I was like, well, technically she's not wrong, but it seems a little excessive.
Yeah. I mean, and I'll just worry about your name. He's always snarling at people. And then the kids do the gig. And I love also the part he got them convinced. Frank Wally, we were talking about Frank Wally yesterday. He's the guy that runs the show, but they tell him that these kids are dying.
They all pretend
some blood disease.
Yeah, it's like stick it to the man, blood disease or something like that. It's so good. We have to talk about Joan Cusack.
She's so adorable in this movie. Everybody drink.
Okay, we love Joan Cusack. We love her. National treasure, Joan Cusack. She plays the principal of the school, and she's like really tightly wound, but I think in a really fun way. She could have been a hard ass.
No, you could tell she's also just somebody who's trying to keep it together. She has a lot of responsibility, and so she's trying, create a nice environment, but be on top of everything, but be cool. And she's I think she looks beautiful, by the way, in this movie. I think she's gorgeous.
She looks so good. I wrote in my notes at the beginning, especially at the beginning of the movie, she's wearing like a suit, but like a suit, like a tie, like a man's tie, and then like the tight like pencil skirt. And I was like, she looks amazing. I would wear that. She looks so good. But I love the scene where she's talking to one of the boys and she's like, that's not the dress code. Like, you need to roll your sleeves down. And like, he's like, you know, and he does it and she walks off. And then one of the other kids, you know, he's like, you're the man, you know, and she's all, thank you. Like, because she doesn't realize it's an insult. Thank you. But she gets a great scene where like Jack Black takes her out to a beer and he wants to convince her to let them go on a field trip, which is going to be Battle of the Bands, but he's lying and saying it's a Mozart concert or something. And he heard that she really likes Stevie Nicks. So he takes her out for a beer and puts on Stevie Nicks, and she just kind of melts in front of, like, you know, she just turns into this, like, other person. She's so good. I love Joan Cusack.
She's so, so cute. And then he gets caught lying because eventually that's going to happen. And but it's a great scene where the kids go and rescue him, Jack Black, from himself.
Yes.
Like he goes and they get him out of his apartment. He's like, this is so punk rock. And they get it to the bus and they go to the gig. And the parents are meanwhile furious because Joan Cusack's in charge. They pay a lot of money. Where are the kids? And the kids disappear. And she's like, okay, we got to go to the theater now. And then they had to buy the tickets and they stormed their way up front. And the kids put on this really great show. That song is super kick-ass.
Oh my, I wrote in here, that's a catchy fucking song.
Fucking A.
I rewound it and watched that scene like 3 times, by the way.
And the kids are all playing the real instruments. Those kids could all play. And that's their singing. It's I mean, they're super talented. I would love to be in that audience because I think that would be really fun. So they don't win the contest. Spoiler. It's what's it called? No vacancy.
So let me just say, all right. So the kids don't win, and the audience is like, boo, boo. But there's one guy in the audience who's like, yeah, no vacancy. Like, and that just made me. And No Vacancy, of course, is like Jack Black's old band with like the guy Spider like doing his like weird roll thing while he plays. And like, oh god, it was so funny. So funny. I love it.
But then they get called for an encore. And then they come out and play.
Yeah.
And the parents, I love the parents, like really accepting the kids, like really being excited by watching them. Like the girl that sings, she's also like the girl that he says, everyone wants to party with Aretha. Like the girl that sings, oh, she's such a beautiful voice. And seeing her parents all cavelling as they watch her. Yeah, there's some really sweet moments.
Such sweet moments. So I love the scene where she's like, I'm afraid to get up there because people are going to laugh at me because I'm fat. And he's like, who cares? Like, who cares if you are what you are? And, you know, everyone wants to party with Aretha. She's awesome. And then he's like, you know who else has a weight problem? Me. And I shared the GIF last night on Twitter. I was like, why don't you go on a diet? And he says, because I like to eat. I was like, he gets it.
Yeah.
But I love his talk with her. He has one with the boy who plays the piano, Lawrence. And he's like, I'm not cool. None of the kids want to talk to me. And he's like, you're going to be in the coolest band and everyone's going to want to talk to you. And then he teaches them this special handshake that I was like, once again, made me laugh out loud. Cause it's like, the handshake goes on forever. And then there's like a part where like they turn their hands into like little stick people and they're like kicking. And it's like, let's rock, let's rock, let's rock. It's so cute. I love how he talks to them like adults. He never condescends to the kids. He's very sweet to them. And you could tell while filming, he probably was making them laugh really hard.
Well, you could totally tell at the end when they do the end credits. Yeah. And all the kids get to play, except the bassist. I was like, how come Katie doesn't get a chance to show off her bass skills?
Yeah, that part's weird.
It's so weird, but they got all the other kids, and then he's doing that shooby dooby dooby. People all leave the theater.
So funny.
I love it when they do that in movies.
I love it too. There's there's videos online of different reunions they've done throughout the years. So there's like I think a 10 or 15-year reunion where they all played together with Jack Black and the kids again, and they're all adults. I think they're in Austin playing together, and it's really good. Like, and it's just fun to see them, and you can see there's like all this affection for them, and they each, like, he gives them all their moment again. And it's the same thing. It's like, it's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll, and then he stops it and like gives them each their solo. It makes me happy to see.
I feel the same way. It always puts a smile on my face. It always puts me in a good mood, and especially the world being on fire right now. Like, this is the kind of movie that you need, because it's post 9/11, but it's pre all this bullshit that's happened the last few years,
right?
When there was still hope. So I love the locations that they picked. It just feels very New Jersey and Jersey City. And it's just always, I love the songs. This soundtrack must have costed a bloody fortune.
Oh my gosh. Because there's like real, was it, there's Led Zeppelin songs on here. There's AC/DC songs on here, and they had to pay for that shit.
Yeah. Zeppelin doesn't give their music away very easily. You have to. So Jack Black, when they filmed that concert scene, Jack Black filmed something where he was on stage with thousands of people behind him, and he said to the members of Led Zeppelin, he goes, "Please let us use it in your song. We're all begging you, please let us use it." And they did.
That's awesome.
Which is awesome.
It is. This movie was like, it's really good timing to watch this one, so I'm really glad you suggested it, because like you said, kids are going back to school. I think we need to show our teachers some love. If you have a teacher in your life at all, send them a card or something. Send them some flowers, man. Send them some cookies. They deserve it. And I actually think the movie has something really interesting to say too. And it's not like a message that's in the movie, but it's something that I think about when I watch movies like this, that all kids learn differently. And there's this idea that he's like off curriculum, right? He's not teaching what he's supposed to be teaching, but look at all the things they learn when he's teaching them something different. Like, we cram all these kids into a classroom by age, and we expect them all to learn the same, which is ridiculous, because everybody's different. And instead of, it's so funny too, because I think they said it's like over 3 weeks, but it feels much longer. But he doesn't teach them history or math or any of that stuff. But they learn all this stuff about being a human being and how to have confidence in themselves. And that's some awesome shit to learn at that age.
And they melted some braids.
And they melted his face, and they busted his gut. It's so good. I just love it. I'm going through all my notes to make sure we Did you ever see, this is a side note, did you ever see the movie Mike White made before this called Chuck and Buck?
No, I've never seen it.
Okay. I don't want to spoil it for people, because it is a very interesting movie, and I do recommend it. But I will just say there is a scene in that movie where the movie is... Mike White is like kind of stalking somebody, another man in the movie. Like, that they were like childhood friends, and he keeps like showing up at his house, and he's kind of stalking him a little. And there's a point in the movie where it turns into something else that I wasn't expecting. And I watched it at home with my sister, and I remember both of us going, "What the fuck?" And that's all I'm going to say about that. But it's a very interesting movie.
Who else is in it?
It is Chris Wentz. It's like one of the directors of American Pie is the lead. It's such a weird movie. Chuck and Buck. I'm gonna look it up right now. Chuck and Buck.
He was also on not Survivor. He was on The Amazing Race.
He was on Amazing Race. Yeah. I didn't watch it. I just know.
He got so sick of his dad. Like, at some point, they were so sick of each other, like traveling. But just Mike White has that face, like, that's funny. Yeah. He's so deadpan.
It stars Chris Wentz. He was one of the like the Wentz brothers that did the American Pie movies and like About a Boy and stuff like that. I don't think he's not really known for acting. I'm not quite sure why he was the lead, but it's such a weird movie and it came out before School of Rock, and School of Rock is so different.
Yeah.
Mike White also wrote The Good Girl with Jennifer Aniston that I think
Oh, I like that movie.
And that's another one where I was like, that movie's super different. This movie is like a full-on comedy. And those movies are definitely not a full-on comedy. It's very, very different. He's a very interesting dude, Mike White.
Yeah, he is.
Like, what else? Oh, I wanted to call out that Jack Black is working his ass off in this movie.
I love it when he does the dancing where he like kicks his feet out.
Yeah.
Like the dancing he does here, he puts everything into this performance. Like he just doesn't let any moment go away.
There's not a wasted moment in this movie.
No. And he's like, he's putting finishing touches on all the little things when he's with his theatrics.
Yes.
And I like the way he parts his hair one way when he's Jack Black and the other way when he's being Mr. S, Mr. Schneebly. There's little touches like that I love.
That's such a good call out. And like the way he dresses when he's a teacher too, like the little boy that thinks he's tacky and hates him. Like,
you're tacky and I hate you.
You're tacky and I hate you.
Okay, we're done with that.
He calls him out for his clothes, and I was like, I actually like the way he dresses when he's a substitute teacher. I like the bow tie. I think it's cute.
I like it when they go to the arena and he says, okay, beautification. He goes, are you kidding?
That little boy is so funny. I don't want to work security. I want to do the costumes. Of course you do, fancy pants. So cute. What a stereotype that little boy is. But he's so cute.
But he's adorable.
Everybody
drink.
Yeah, he's adorable. Everybody drink. He's constantly like dancing, moving, kicking, running in place, doing things with his face, like busting out into song all the time. He's working really hard and he doesn't make it look like work. You know, it's not like, oh, he's working so hard to make a shitty movie good. He's just, that kind of character is just so energetic. He brings so much energy to the movie. It's really, the movie's just a fucking pleasure.
It just is. And once again, like if you're looking for something to put you in a better mood or just forget about things, I mean, just put this movie on. I think it's okay for the whole family.
For sure. I actually watched it after my son went to bed, and while I was watching it, I was like, we could have watched this earlier. Like, Calvin is 8. I'm like, he might have gotten bored when they started talking, but he would like the music. I think it's totally fine. It's weird because I think it's rated PG-13, and I'm like, why? Any kid under 13 could watch this movie.
There's hardly any cursing.
Yeah. It's got a good message. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, it really does.
The other thing I wanted to call out was after they do their show and they don't win, and Joan Cusack's character goes backstage and she's like, I'm furious, but you were so great. And that guy Spider comes up to her and he's like, are you in a band? Like, and he's kind of hitting on her. He's like, you're so hot.
He's totally hitting on her.
Yeah. And she's like, he's like, you're so hot. And she's like, you're hot? Are you warm? Are you okay? Like the way she talks to him. Like, it's just so funny. I'm like, I like to think that maybe they hooked up like once. She let her hair down.
Well, he knows what music to play.
Yes, he does. So good. Do you have anything else you want to say about School of Rock?
I like Richard Linklater a lot. I think he has a lot of heart. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
he's
good
great
description.
At directing comedies. Yeah. He has a lot of heart. I mean, I don't love all the movies, but he takes chances and he has so much affection for the music and also just for the kids, and the kids are treated respectfully. Yeah. And it's a great message. It's really fun. It's just early 2000s before we knew everything would go to hell.
Yeah. It's so funny, actually, now that you pointed out like how good he is directing kids, because he also did Dazed and Confused, which, is in theory about like high schoolers. But I think most of them were older than high school.
Oh, yeah,
but there were kids that were younger too in that movie. And Yeah, like how he ties music to moments and how he treats kids, I don't know, like not as like adorable little morons or like as or just like standard movie kid stereotypes. Like
Mm-hmm.
these kids all have real thoughts and feelings and their own agency, and I really enjoy that. And Dazed and Confused is definitely on our list. So if you guys put in the if you guys tweet to us asking for Dazed and Confused, just know it is on our list. We are
It's
going.
on our list.
It is. And I love Before Sunrise and Before Midnight and Before Sunset.
Before Sunset.
Yeah, all of those are great. He's really great. He makes good stuff.
Yeah.
I haven't seen what's the last one he did? Where'd You Go, Bernadette? I didn't see that. Or I haven't even seen Everybody Wants Some. Did you see that one? It's supposed to be kind of a sequel-ish type movie to Dazed and Confused. Did you see that one?
No, I did not. What was the other one? Did he also direct the other Jack Black movie, Bernie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't see that one either.
It's pretty good.
Okay.
It's a crazy story.
Yeah.
It's an insane batshit story, and Jack Black does a really good performance there too.
Okay. That one, I'll put it on my list. Do you want to hear about some of the other movies of 2003?
Oh, yes.
We have never done 2003 before, so these are the top movies. Number 10, Bad Boys 2. Sure.
Okay.
That's a movie that existed. Number 9 was X-Men 2.
Ew.
I'm like, yeah. I think that's the one people like out of those three. A lot of sequels here. Matrix Revolutions.
Oh my God. Is that the last one?
Yes. It's not good.
No, it's not.
Let me just say, it's a very ambitious movie. That's about as nice as I could say. Number 7, Terminator 3, Rise of the Machines.
Oh, that's not a good movie.
This wasn't a good year.
No.
Number 6, The Last Samurai.
Never saw it.
That's the one with Tom Cruise. Actually, I don't know if I saw it either. Number 5, Bruce Almighty.
Is that Jim Carrey?
That's the Jim Carrey one. Yeah. I'm sure I saw it.
I'm sure I saw it too because I used to see all the Jim Carrey movies.
Yeah. Here's a good one. The first Pirates of the Caribbean movie.
I do like the first Pirates of the Caribbean. I think it's a very funny movie.
It's so entertaining.
Yeah.
Fucking Johnny Depp, you creep. But still, I like that movie. Number 3 was Matrix Reloaded.
So maybe that's the last one?
I think that's the sequel.
Oh,
I think
Jesus Christ.
it made more money than the last one because people probably saw Reloaded and then they were like, oh, I don't like where that's going. So they didn't bother with the last one. Here we go. Here's some good movies. Number 2 was Finding Nemo.
That's a very good movie.
That one's so cute. And then number 1 is Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King, which is very good.
I like the Lord of the Rings movies. So, okay. Do you want to hear about the top songs?
Yep.
All right. So, first we have 50 Cent, In the Club, which I love.
I love that song.
That's such a great fucking song.
My sister and I quote that song all the time, but we change the words to fit like our lifestyle. So it's like you find me in the club asking where the recycling bin is and turning up the air conditioner. Stuff like that.
Beyonce, Crazy in Love. It was her birthday yesterday.
Oh my gosh, that song is so... Now it's going to be in my head all day.
Oh, here's another one that'll be in your head all day. Outkast, Hey Ya. Remember that?
Oh my gosh, that's a good song too.
The White Stripes, Seven Nation Army. I think that's my favorite White Stripes song.
Yeah, that's a really, really good song.
Really good song. Jet, Are You Gonna Be My Girl?
That's a good song too. These are all really good.
And then this is a song I stupid love. Kellis with Milkshake.
Oh yeah.
My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard.
Yeah.
Their life is better than yours. Damn right. It's better than yours. I happen to own that song, yes.
All of those. So a couple of those songs remind me that I think 2003 might be the last time I went to. So Live 105, the radio station here, used to do a summer concert called BFD. Did you ever go to BFD? It was like
They didn't have them.
Oh, they didn't have it when you were living here?
When I was living there, no.
So it was always like, all the like alternative rock bands. And I think I got to, so the fact that you mentioned White Stripes, I got to see White Stripes. I saw Jet, and then who did Are You Gonna Be My Girl? And then what was the other rockish song you mentioned? I think they were all there now that I think about it.
Yeah, Seven Nation Army.
Yeah. They were all
wow.
there. Yeah, that was like, I think that was the last year I went because I think maybe Limp Bizkit played, and I was like, And then like the next year I was like, I think I'm out. Think I'm getting a little too old for the BFD.
You age yourself out of those things. Like at some point,
For sure.
It's like, yeah, I can't spend 6 hours, 8 hours doing this.
Yeah.
Like it's got to end at some point.
Yeah. So the headliner was actually Stone Temple Pilots, and they were rad.
I've seen them 10 times.
Yeah.
They are one of my favorite bands in the 90s. They were, I've seen them a whole bunch of times. I actually won tickets to see an acoustic show that they did for VH1.
Oh,
and
nice.
For like second row. And it was really like only like 30 people in the audience.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, it was incredible.
They were so good. And when they performed, I was like, oh my God, they have so many kick-ass songs. Like
Yeah.
They were so good. But like I think right before them was Limp Bizkit, and I was like, this one is not my jam. Like it was very angry. It's like a tonal change that I was like not comfortable with. I was like, there was like a white, angry mindset that I was like, I think I'm out. I think I'm gonna
White
pass.
male rage.
Yeah,
white male rage. I think that's they also performed, I think, at Woodstock in '99, and that's the Woodstock where it went all to hell.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, I remember hearing like, Nookie or Break Stuff or whatever, and I was like, sure, like those are catchy songs. Yeah. I kind of get it. But then when I saw them live, I was like, oh, I'm turned off. Like, that's enough of that then.
Yeah.
What else are you dorking out about?
So I saw Bill and Ted's Final Journey. What's it called?
Face the Music.
Face the Music. Sorry. Face the Music. I saw it last night. Super loved it.
Me too.
I thought it was great. I'm so excited. They had Missy there. Like the original Missy was there.
Missy, I mean Mom.
They had, I think their kids are great.
Yeah.
They're the two leads that play their daughters that are like helping save the world. I like Louis Armstrong and Jimi Hendrix being there.
It was so fun.
It was so fun. It's I think it's perfect that it's released on VOD. I don't know if it would have held up in a movie theater as much.
Yeah.
I think I was totally fine on my couch, just enjoying it. But it was so much fun. They look great. They have such great chemistry together.
They do.
Keanu and Alex Winter. I super enjoyed it.
Me too. We talked a little bit about this before we started recording, or we talked about it yesterday before What a Creep, I forget. But Bill and Ted are so nice. They're nice characters. They mean well. They always have such good intentions. They have good hearts. Like you can't not root for them. They're always trying to do the right thing. They might fuck it up, but they mean well. Like they're always trying to, they're so good. And I love how much Bill and Ted love each other. Yeah. Like, and so much of this movie is characters like saying things at the same time because they're like so mind melded, including their daughters, the way their daughters are. And I really like the daughters. It's
I think they're great.
Samara Weaving, who was in Ready or Not, which came out last year, which was super, super fun. If you haven't seen Ready or Not, I do recommend that. And then the other one is Brigitte Lindy Payne. She plays Keanu Reeves' daughter, and then Samara Weaving is Alex Winter's daughter. And I thought they were really good. I love Kristen Schaal as
I always love Kristen Schaal.
Yeah, every time she shows up, you're like, well, that's a fucking treat because she's rad. And I love that she's playing Rufus's daughter. That's George Carlin, and her name is Kelly in the movie, which is George Carlin's real daughter's name, so I thought that was like a really good nod. I have a special place in my heart for George Carlin. So
I miss George Carlin. We need him in these times.
I miss him so much. By the way, speaking of side rant, did you see that Adam Carolla like tried to use George Carlin as like an example of someone who would totally be on his side during all of this?
No.
Yeah, he was just like, comedians are supposed to push the edge, man. Where George Carlin and Richard Pryor would be rolling over in their graves.
No, they wouldn't.
And then Kelly Carlin was like, no. Like, my dad was actually, like, super progressive, and he would hate Trump, and he would hate the jokes you're making, and, like, she is not on board. And I was like, thank you, Kelly Carlin. George Carlin was not a racist, sexist, homophobic asshole. Like, he was a very smart man who didn't like bullshit. That was George Carlin's thing.
He hated tyrants.
Yes.
He hated that shit, and he spoke out against it. And he also hated stupidity, and he hated people that weren't curious. That was a real turnoff for him, and that was something he talked about all the time. I had my own tussle with Adam Carolla.
Yes, you did.
Because he said, he's such an asshole. Side rant, sorry, you guys. But he said that, it turns out only the sick and the elderly are dying from this thing. So how many of you pussies and he spelled pussies, Pussy apostrophe S, because he's an idiot, are going to fall for the next time. And I just basically told him to piss off. But white male rage. White male rage. I mean, just what are you bitching about? You have a charmed life.
Yeah,
shut the fuck up.
Exactly. Shut the fuck up, Adam Carolla. The adults are talking. Be quiet. Go.
You've got more than you deserve, not less. Trust me.
Yeah.
He and Dennis Prater, is that the name? Prater, the conservative guy that he looks up to. They made a movie. And remember they sent me the press release. I sent it to
you. We were like, LOL.
Like, no, that's okay. But they have a clip on YouTube of them talking about white male privilege, and that it's a joke. And Adam Carolla basically talks about his entire resume. Like, the time he was 18, he had a job as a janitor, and then all the jobs to prove to you he's worked hard for what he had. Like, nobody says you didn't work hard, but you have it easier than people that have, a disability or have a, you know what I mean? Like, it's refusing to see that their work is nothing but like, don't even get me started. I can't even.
Sorry. Sorry, everybody.
Mello from School of Rock. Sorry.
Yeah, I fucking hate Adam Carolla. Anyway, we were talking about how there's a very nice tribute to George Carlin in the movie. That's how we got here.
That's how we got there.
It is really, really fun movie. And it's really, like, I think it's exactly what you said. If I saw it in the theater, I wonder if my reaction would have been not as warm towards the movie. Like, it feels like a perfect watch at home movie.
It is.
But I feel like if I had paid I paid $20 to watch it at home. So but I'm like, that's actually not true.
Wine.
But
but you're home. You can put your feet up.
Yeah.
You can watch it with the captions and laugh. And it's such a perfect way to watch it. It totally, and it's worth it, you guys. If you're
it's 100% worth it. Like, I really, really enjoyed it. I think it's a really fun movie. I think Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter do have like really good chemistry together. It was fun to see them. Alex Winter doesn't show up in stuff anymore. I mean, we see Keanu Reeves all the time, but it was nice to see.
He's more of a director now.
Oh, okay. That's good to know.
He's directing a lot of stuff.
I really liked seeing him. Like we said, I love the daughters. I was happy to see William Sadler again as the Grim Reaper. I think he's really great. I love the addition of the totally insecure robot.
Oh my God. He was hilarious.
That shit made me laugh. He played in what?
Lex Luthor. And he played Lex Luthor in the Superman show.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know that.
I think that's him. Maybe I'm wrong. No, I'm wrong. He's in Barry. I think he's the guy from Barry. Sorry, I'm mixing up my bald guys. He's from Barry.
He is really, really funny in this movie.
He's hilarious. I looked him up. Yeah, he's hilarious.
And the wives are really sweet. Jillian Bell shows up as a marriage counselor from Brittany Runs a Marathon. I was very happy to see her, and then it made me want to watch Brittany Runs a Marathon again because that movie's awesome.
I haven't seen that. I need to see that movie. I know. There's somebody on my list. You would love
it. It's so good. It made me cry multiple times. It's really, really good. Oh, and Holland Taylor. How could I forget?
National treasure.
National treasure. Holland Taylor is the great leader, the most powerful person in the universe. I love it. She is, because she's Holland Taylor.
Yeah, she's the badass.
It's really good. That is 2 thumbs up here for Bill and Ted Face the Music. And anything else we want to talk about under Dorking Out?
No, I think that's it. I think I'm good.
Okay. I think this was super fun. So that's it then. If y'all want to email us, you can at dorkingoutshow@gmail.com. We have the cutest stickers. They're adorable. Everybody drink. So send us an email with your address and we'll happily send those to you. You can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts and I'll give you a shout out on the podcast. That would be rad.
Mm-hmm.
And Margo, where can people find you on the internet?
Well, let's tell them first that if they like more ranting, then
the Adam Carolla rant is just a small taste.
We have a show called What a Creep, where we call out creeps from the past and the present, the biggest jerks, losers, and assholes of all time. And we have so much fun doing it. It's a really fun time. So if you're interested, check out What a Creep.
Yeah,
and follow us on all the things.
Yeah, What a Creep. whatacreeppodcast.com. We have a website. Mm-hmm. You can learn everything you want to know about it. And then where can people find you, Margo?
On social media, you can find me at Brooklyn Fit Chick, mostly for Twitter and Instagram. And my blog is brooklynfitchick.com.
And you can find me at thesoniashow.com and The Sonia Show on Twitter and Instagram. And you can find Dorking Out at dorkingoutshow.com and Dorking Out Show on Twitter. And, I mean, you could comment on Facebook, but if I go on Facebook, I'm in our What a Creep private group. So if you want to contact me there, you can. I'll answer you. And this was super, super fun. So before we go, though, Margo, I need you to repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to the band.
I pledge allegiance to the band.